Hey, what's up guys? Mike Red Fox. In this video, we're going to talk about why I think efficiency is so important in mining and some of the steps I've taken over this last year to become more efficient in my mining setup. So let's start with like the classic definition of efficiency as it relates to mining. It's really the amount of hash rate a GPU can pull for the amount of electricity that that graphics card is using. So, just to give an example, rough numbers here, an RX 580 versus an RTX full hash rate 3070, they're pulling essentially the same amount of wattage, but you're getting double the hash rate out of an RTX 3070. And so what does that really mean for you? That means more profitability over the amount of electricity that that GPU is utilizing. And there are other things you certainly have to take into account, like the price per mega hash and all that, but we're just talking about efficiency in this video. And when I think about the perspective for me is this is the single thing that saved me in the last bear market when profitability got so low. I was able to run at the time my efficient 1070 Ti's, which were amongst some of the best cards at the time for the certain algorithms that were being mined. And luckily that I had those with my residential electric rate, I was still able to maintain a very small profitability over my electric rate. Those cards, by the way, RIP, in terms of the first thing that I did to become more efficient is I phased out some of those older GPUs and replaced them with more efficient GPUs. But we'll get more to that in a second. When you have to think about this, at least in my opinion, is in the road ahead when profitability will drop. At some point it's going to, and it's going to mean something completely different if you have maybe RX 470s and a 30-cent electric rate versus if you have, RTX 3070s and pay 6 cents per kilowatt hour. That person with the older GPUs and the higher electric rate is just going to get phased out of mining much sooner than the person with the lower electric rate with the much more efficient GPUs. And so, being a residential miner, it's something that I always think about, and it fuels the decision making for me on what GPUs that I want to get and what GPUs I want to get rid of. But it really does all come down to your goals, your unique situation, and you making the best decision for yourself. Now, the first thing that I did this last year, and if you're sleeping on this, you got to get going, is take advantage of absolute core clock, otherwise known as lock core clock, on all my 20 series, 16 series, and 30 series GPUs. Now, what this is going to do, just in case you don't know, is it's going to probably reduce the wattage that your rigs are pulling. So let me give you an example. I have an 8-card 1660 Ti rig, all mining Ethereum, and each GPU is pulling 75 watts. For a total of just GPUs, since I have 600 watts across the board. When I introduced lock core clock, I was able to shave 40 watts off of that. Now the GPUs are pulling 560 watts. The reason it's able to do this is just take advantage of the silicon lottery between the graphics cards. And so some still are pulling 75 watts to hit that 31 mega hash, but others are able to hit that mega hash running even lower, some as low as 63, 64, 65 watts. So just across the board, able to shave off 40 watts off that rig. The 20 series cards are even better. I got rid of the last of mine, again, efficiency, but they're even better. And the 30 series cards, you can absolutely save some wattage too. So when I think about this, just across all my whole setup, I've absolutely saved hundreds and hundreds of watts, which is less heat that's generated, less I'm paying electricity, and just made me more efficient. So if you're sleeping on this, you got to get going. I will link to my video and doing this in Windows up in the card above. And there are several other amazing videos by other content creators out there covering the same thing in Hive OS. So you got to get going. If you have 16 series, 20 series, or 30 series GPUs, you have to take advantage of this. And the next thing I did to make my setup a little more efficient, and this is really just out of necessity more than anything else, is consolidation. You, as well as I know, that core components, motherboards, CPUs have been so expensive and so hard to get just this last year. A lot of it is, because of mining. Mining motherboards are wild in price. And so luckily for me, over the last several years, I bought quite a few mining motherboards for much cheaper. So I have, the classic 13 GPU mining motherboards, but really I only was running 6 GPUs or up to 8 GPUs on them. And just out of that necessity, instead of having to go spend a premium to get more, I decided to consolidate. And so I took several 6-card rigs and made them instead 12-card rigs. And what does that mean again for me then? That's a motherboard that's not pulling wattage. That's a CPU that's not pulling wattage. So again, I'm able to reduce the overall electric that I'm pulling. So where maybe I had 2 6-card 3070 rigs, now I have one monster 3070 rig. Actually, I'll leave a link up to that in the card above. So again, reducing my overall wattage that I'm pulling. And again, this one was more out of necessity. Now, just an asterisk on this, just in case, if you are looking to do something like this, highly recommend you do it in a Linux-based operating system, because virtual memory, dealing with that in Windows is an absolute nightmare when you get to rigs of that size. But that's just another way I was able to save some money, and I was able to reduce my wattage again. Now, the last thing that I do right now, where it's December, making this video, and where I'm at, temperatures are beginning as low as 20 degrees Fahrenheit outside. I have not had to turn on the heat in my house yet. I have a ranch house. We're in my basement. Most of my rigs are in my basement. And right now, everything is just, rising. Heat is rising. And my house is staying like 79 degrees Fahrenheit. It's actually a little too warm. I've had to open the window. But reusing this heat is efficient too. And what I did last year, and I will do again this year, is I take all of the heat generated in my grow tent and I send that right into my ductwork, which runs right above me in my house. And I have a ranch, so really easy for that air to move up into the vents up above, into the bedrooms and all the areas of the house. So I'll absolutely be doing that again, but my furnace has not had to turn on yet. And it's very likely I may not have to use it all winter. And that's amazing. That's saving me on my natural gas bill. That's saving me on my electricity bill. Again, being more efficient, thinking a little bit different, a little outside the box, how I can save some cash in the long run. So that's it. That's why efficiency, in my opinion, has been so important to me. And those are some of the steps that I've taken over this last year to become more efficient in my mining setup. I would love to know your thoughts below. How many times did I say the word efficient in this video? It's probably a lot, but please leave some comments below. Let me know your thoughts on all this, some of the steps that you've maybe taken to make your setup more efficient. What GPUs have you phased out? What GPUs have you introduced? Have you done absolute core clock, lock core clock? How much wattage did you save overall in your mining setup? Let me know in the comment section down below. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more GPU mining content. Join my Discord if you want to chat. The link is down in the description. As always, please take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next video.